Here's why you should start a high ticket service over a low ticket service. And I'm going to explain to you the ins and outs and the pros and cons and why you would want to reverse engineer it if you don't already have a following. The thing is, when you're first starting your business, the number one thing that you want to ask yourself is, and that you always need to worry about, is your monthly recurring revenue. Your monthly recurring revenue is the amount of money that's coming in monthly without you having to constantly go look for your next paycheck. And the reason for that, it's a subscription-based model. And therefore, you don't realistically have to guess or assume where your next paycheck is going to come from or what it's going to be next month because it's on a subscription base. But you see, the thing is, when you have a low ticket offer when you're first starting out, it's really difficult to monetize because the reason is if you don't have an audience already, then it really makes it difficult for people to, one, know who you are, and two, for you to stand out in a flooded pond full of other individuals or influencers like yourself. And so the reason why 9 times out of 10, most people will probably start a high ticket service versus a low ticket service when they first start off is because it allows them to be more unique and it gives them a better value proposition. Now, the beauty about having a low ticket offer is it allows the individual that potentially wants to work with you to enter the market at a low level. So it has a low barrier to entry, which allows the consumer to work with you on a lower level. The downside of this is typically 9 times out of 10, it starts at around $497, $250, even maybe $100. But for instance, for right now, let's just say you have a $497 course. It's gonna take you roughly around 250 people just to get to 100K in 1 year. Whereas if you have a coaching business or a high ticket agency or a high ticket service, you would need roughly around 20 to 30 people at most paying you anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 all the way up every month to get you to 100K. Now, the thing about this is it's going to require you to talk to a lot less more people at a high ticket offer. The downsell, you're going to have to obviously get more up to bat, or it's going to take longer periods of time for you to get more sales because you're looking for a specific avatar. In a low ticket world, you can apply to anyone realistically. The reason why most individuals start a low ticket offer in the first place is because when you're starting an agency and it begins to scale, it leaves a lot of room on the table. And when I mean a lot of room on the table, there's a lot of individuals that might not be able to work with you at that $5,000 price point. So instead of saying, hey, I can't really work with you, here's a bunch of free content or just follow me for more value, etc., you put them into a low ticket program. That low ticket program gives them faith, gives them hope. And not only that, you're constantly touching them, giving them a little bit of hints, tips, whatever it might be, but it gives them the ability to see how you operate with all your other clients, but it also makes them feel well. And so let's say this, if you have a program, you have a course, and you have enough conviction in your course and in the material that you actually put out and showcase and apply to your life on a day-to-day basis, then by having that low ticket individual come into your program and they actually apply the things that you say to their actual life and they get the results that they're looking for, they then have the opportunity to work with you on a high ticket level, giving the lifetime value of that customer times 2, because you got them at the low ticket for a one time, and now you have the ability to transform them into a high ticket client and then get the lifeline of that. Now, the upside to the high ticket offer, the reason why most people start the high ticket offer is because they don't necessarily have an audience when they're first starting out. But if you're running ads and you're acquiring leads and you're actually nurturing and qualifying and closing them, you then start to have a large amounts of cash flow. And cash flow is great because you need monthly recurring revenue to stay afloat. And it also gives you predictable revenue for anywhere up to 90 days, all the way up to a year, depending on your actual contracts. It really just comes down to you. But long story short, when you have a high ticket offer, it also brings high ticket problems. And when I say high ticket problems, it means you need to have an amazing team dialed in, no junior partners. You need to have juniors going into seniors because the reality is you don't have the ability to F up. If you F up and they screw up, it could cost you the actual client. And so when you're looking at building your team, you want to go ahead and get juniors moving into senior positions because you're able to mold them from the start up. The last thing you want to have is having a junior bottleneck you down because they just cannot operate at the level that you're looking them to be at. So when you're looking for individuals on your team, make sure they're juniors going into seniors and they're able to do the task that you're looking for. Because at the end of the day, If they can't run with you, then they're not going to help you grow the business. They're going to do more harm than good. Not only that, like I mentioned before, your offer has to be no-brainer. It has to be too good to be true. When I say too good to be true, it's presented to a potential client and they look at it and they say, damn, this could really take me from X to Z, or take me from where I want to be to where I want to go. And if they can see that through your presentation, or if they can feel that when you're actually speaking through emotion, it's going to be a lot easier of a sale, and it's going to allow you to get that cash flow into your systems and your company a lot sooner. I also want to mention that you have to be good at sales when it comes to high ticket. If you don't understand the consumer, if you don't understand their behavior, if you're not asking the right questions, if you're not shutting up when you need to, because the reality is you're a therapist, if you're talking more than them, you've already lost. That's just the reality of it. And so if you're not doing the proper things on the actual call, or the nurturing process, the qualifying process, then everything that I just mentioned, you might as well just throw out the window. Because if you can't do sales, you're not going to get past the high ticket level burdens, which is you need to be able to close. You need to have a lot of conviction in what you're selling. And if you don't have conviction in what you're selling, you need to go out there and get more testimonials or get more reps so that you have the conviction when you're speaking to your consumer. The only way this works is if you actually believe in what you're selling. If you're not believing in what you're selling, it's pointless. You're not going to make the sale, and it's going to make your life a lot more difficult. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of beautiful things about having a high ticket offer. And some of the upsides, like I mentioned before, is you start getting into a monthly recurring revenue model. This allows you to understand exactly what you are going to be bringing in for the next 30 days. There's no more guessing. There's no more where the heck's my paycheck going to be coming from, because you have these clients in agreements and contracts or general agreements where you know they're going to be working with you up to a certain amount of days or a certain amount of months. And so long story short, for instance, when you're able to compound all the contracts, that's how you're able to scale your business to a larger number a lot quicker. Right? And so for instance, you're going to have contracts that might start in January, but they end all the way in May. But in between, you're going to be getting new contracts as well. So you're doing a compound effect, if that makes sense. Now, when you look at it from the outside in, that's your monthly recurring revenue. And that's how much cash flow you have coming in every month up until that contract obviously ends. The beauty about this is you're able to do a lot more upfront. Build your team, run ads, double down on your ads, work in the business instead of being in it, create content, form frameworks, buy your time back. All these things matter when you're building your business, because in the very beginning, you're going to be stuck in the business 9 times out of 10. You're not going to be working on it. You're going to actually be doing all the work and helping with the fulfillment. Once you get all your systems dialed in through your high ticket offer, then you're able to buy your time back and then scale the business where you want to go through a high ticket offer or a low ticket offer. Now, the cool thing is once you start this high ticket offer, you could always go back to a low ticket offer. The reason I said before you don't start in low ticket is because you need an audience. So let's say you've been doing this for about 2 years. You now have a little bit of a personal brand, you have a following, and people are actually interested in how you are able to do this. So now you offer a low ticket service. It could be a coaching program, for instance, but you get them in at a low level entry barrier, and then you work them up into a more sophisticated coaching program, for instance, content agency, whatever it is, but you can move them into a higher bracket, allowing you to collect more cash. And so that's why it's important to understand when you're starting out, it's okay to go high ticket, but then you can leverage low ticket in the back end after you do all the work. So there you go. That's the main difference between a high ticket offer and a low ticket offer, and where you should get started first. If you found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to hear and be educated on next. It allows me to get a better understanding of where you currently are in your journey and where you're currently struggling with the most. Like always, follow for more value. Bye for now.